All right, what's going on, guys? The Iceman here. WWE Pay-Per-View Extreme Rules has come. It's gone. I thought it was a really halfway decent pay-per-view. I had a little issues with an ending here or there, but for the most part, I thought the pay-per-view was good. Actually, watching the pre-show with El Torito and Hornswoggle. I mean, I wasn't really interested in this match whatsoever because I think they took airtime away from some of the other guys in the WWE roster that are more deserving to be at least on part of the card somewhat. But it was sort of fun to watch. They had a little midget referee. They had their little announcers, and the names they had for the announcers, which were mocking JBL, Jerry Lawler, and Michael Cole, I thought was awesome. So actually, the pre-show actually got you sort of like comfortable and ready to get into the actual pay-per-view. So yeah, we started off with Cesaro, Jack Swagger, and RVD, and in my predictions, I picked Cesaro to win this match. Obviously, he came out with Paul Heyman, and Zeb Coulter was out with Jack Swagger. And a lot of people were saying, well, RVD just came back. He was going to win. I didn't think so. But I will say this these three put on a very good three-way match. It was unfortunate for Jack Swagger that the frog splash sort of like ended his uh, run in this match, and he was eliminated, and it came down to RVD and Cesaro, and there was trash cans and whatnot, and once frog splash on Cesaro wasn't enough. Cesaro had the garbage can, and RVD tried to do another frog splash. Cesaro got out of the way. RVD landed on the garbage can, and I don't know if anybody noticed this, but he had like a cut on his face, and Cesaro ended up actually getting the pin. So he won this match. And now, where does this leave Cesaro? Because what did this match really mean? We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, Cesaro is going to, eventually get a chance to maybe face either Dean Ambrose for the U.S. title or Bad News Barrett, which I just gave that away. But anyway, that's cool because, uh, you know, it is what it is. So we saw Alexander Rusev with Lana. What do you guys think of Lana? She's sort of like she's sort of tall, like Bridget Nielsen, the actress was, but she's got a bit of a face like Scarlett Johansson, and I think she's gorgeous. So you put those two together, and she's pretty hot. And I think actually she's going to end up being bigger than Alexander Rusev's going to be. So anyway, he had a match with Xavier Woods and R-Truth, a handicap match, and as everyone figured, most people think it's 2-on-1. The advantage team is going to win, but in this case, really it wasn't an advantage because Lana was on the outside, and just Alexander Rusev was just like too dominating. Um, and it didn't take much for him to get rid of Xavier Woods, and then going after R-Truth, and ended up defeating him. And after the match, Lana didn't want it to end, so as Rusev came out, she had him do his finisher on Xavier Woods once again, and yeah, sort of like that Lana, and pretty hot. So that wasn't a bad match. I mean, it probably could have been longer, but actually, it did what it had to do. So then going into the third match of the night, Triple H cut a promo basically talking about the Shield and Evolution and stating that, you know, all three members of Evolution all were world champions. He mentioned the amount of championships they had and whatnot, and he wanted to promote the stable. So that wasn't, you know, that wasn't too bad. So anyhow, next matchup, Intercontinental title, champion Big E going up against Bad News Barrett. I think everybody knew coming into this match that the WWE starting to push Barrett once again. And I think this time around, him doing those bad news Barrett segments, I mean, were sort of lame and whatnot. They weren't even funny. That was the thing. They were just sort of lame. They were meaningless, really. And it just, you sort of like couldn't wait for him to get done with them. But this match was pretty good. It was short and sweet. And like I said, I knew going into this match that Barrett was going to probably come out on top and end up becoming the new Intercontinental Champion, as he did with his finisher. That barricade, that arm barricade, whatever the name of it is, I don't know. But Barrett is now the new IC champion. So let's see if Cesaro gets involved in this, going after for the title. So what are you going to do? Up next, to me, this was the match of the night. The Evolution versus the Shield. Now, there was so much going on in this match. There's no way you could actually recap this whole match because there was just everybody was flying left and right. The Shield was coming out of the stands. I mean, Seth Rollins ended up going out of the ring, slamming Triple H into the barricade. He hit the barricade. I mean, everybody was everywhere. I mean, it was just a brutal match, and it went on for a little bit of time. And I'll tell you this much: either team could have won this match. And if Evolution or the Shield won, it wouldn't have mattered because both teams, either way, it it would have been, uh, satisfactory and successful, really, to the point. Um, but this match was great. You saw really in this match a little bit extra from Dean Ambrose. The guy is crazy, man. The guy just he's really sloppy for the most part, and he looks like he's like a little nuts. But I like that crazed look he gets in his eyes. But you really see the talent of Seth Rollins uh, in this match, and he is one of the guys I think that is the key of the success of the Shield because of his talent in the ring. Dean Ambrose is an above average wrestler by no means, and Roman Reigns needs to polish up a little bit, but that spear is devastating. And after it was all said and done, Roman Reigns ended up spearing Dave Batista. Dave Batista, yes, he took the pin. 2 pins in a row, Dave. And Roman Reigns and the Shield ended up defeating Evolution. And like I said, even if Evolution won, it would have been cool. But I think this may lead to somewhat of more conflict between the two. Now, there's rumors now that Batista may not leave, so maybe at Payback there'll be a rematch. Now, this would make us wonder, will Evolution end up winning this match and then possibly having the rubber match at the following pay per view? But overall, I thought the Shield and Evolution match was the best match of the night. I really enjoyed it thoroughly. And I think if this match wasn't on the card, it would have taken a lot away from this pay per view. So, kudos to the WWE for that. Up next, the cage match: John Cena and Bray Wyatt. Now, we saw them at WrestleMania. I thought their match at WrestleMania was really, really good. Tonight's match, there was a lot of good stuff that went on in this match. Um, we saw a lot of little different things, but I would have to say this cage match was a little bit disappointing for me, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Um, Bray Wyatt should have dominated this match with a little bit of a flourish by John Cena, but Bray Wyatt need to dominate this match just to get over even more. Now, I will say this: when John Cena came out, he got booed like hell, and I sort of felt bad for Cena because, you know, being the guy who he has been for so long, I mean, he really don't deserve this disrespect. But they were in New Jersey, so I mean, New Jersey hates anybody from Boston or Massachusetts because of the Red Sox and the Patriots and whatnot. But anyway, I wanted this to be a clean outcome. Um, for the most part, John Cena, he had a lot of beatdowns, but he also had a lot of offense as well. And John Cena had more opportunities to win this match by climbing over the top, but you had Rowan and Harper out there, keeping John within the cage. And just when you thought possibly John was going to win the match, um, he didn't get out of the cage. And then when he went to use the door, there was a child there with a freaky voice, and John was just like in awe. He stared, and Bray Wyatt, Sister Abigail, good night, John Cena. Bray Wyatt wins. Now, why couldn't they have just had Wyatt do this to Cena without that kid coming out? Because to me, it's like they have Cena lose, but there's a reason why he lost. I wanted to see John, if he was to lose cleanly. And without that kid, you know, Bray could have done the same thing. So to me, that bothered me. Um, I have no problem with John Cena losing because he didn't really need to win this match. And I will say this: with what the WWE is doing by bringing a kid out here and whatnot, you cannot rule out a very slow change in the personality of John Cena. You cannot rule out a possible heel turn. You just can't. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what happens on Raw tomorrow night too as well. All right. WWE Divas Champion Paige going up against Tamina Snuka. Pretty good. I mean, I wish it could have been longer, and I was actually surprised it was the match before the main event, but that is good for the girls. I mean, I think that's showing that the WWE is giving them a little bit of respect. Paige is a very good wrestler. Tamina Snuka is a big girl that has a lot of talent, and I think someday down the road she will be WWE champion. But tonight it wasn't to happen. That Scorpion was it crosslock that the Page does. She ended up locking that on Tamina and ended up getting the victory. So, but I think we all thought that Paige was going to retain this title anyway because she had it for a very short time. So moving on to the main event, the champion Daniel Bryan going up against Kane, and I wanted to mention this that Stephanie came out earlier stating that he could just not do the match, relinquish the belt, and save the brutality on his body. And Bryan would have none of that, as we all expected him. But this match was a strange, strange match. It wasn't one of those typical Daniel Bryan matches where there's a lot of action within the ring. There was a lot of stuff going on outside the ring, outside period. Um, it's Extreme Rules, and I understand that, but it wasn't one of the type of matches that I really wanted to see for a main event because I really do believe that Kane and Daniel Bryan, because they teamed up uh, for quite a long time and were tag team champions, they know each other so well that they could have really put on a great show. Now, not to say that they didn't put on a good match, but I don't like these gimmick matches. But there was shades of Stone Cold Steve Austin tonight when Daniel Bryan got Kane on the pallet on the forklift, raised, well, drove the forklift out to the ring, raised it up, tilted it forward, had Kane roll off. Then Bryan proceeded to climb on top of the pallet while the fork truck still had the boom raised, the forks raised, and leaped off. And we thought that was it. Kane ended up getting his shoulders up in time. And then they ended up going outside the ring once again. It was a brutal match. I mean, towards the end of it. Um, but needless to say, Daniel Bryan ended up coming on top, getting the pin. And I don't know, I think the majority of us thought that Daniel Bryan was going to retain. So it was one of those different kind of matches, but it was a good match. Um, And overall, the pay-per-view was pretty good. If I had to rate it out of 10, I'd probably give it a 7.5, 7 3/4. Like I said, I didn't like the ending of the Cena Bray Wyatt match. They did not need to have that kid out there to distract John Cena for him to get beat. Um, but if indeed they are slowly going to do a heel turn with Cena, this would make sense. So there you have it. This is the Iceman's review on Extreme Rules pay per view on this Sunday night. Can't wait for Raw tomorrow night. Yes, I am donning the John Cena shirt tonight. So, hope everybody enjoyed the show. Those that didn't get to watch it, I was conversing with some people on Facebook while I was watching the show, and I had told them because I saw them on Facebook and I was asked about the Cesaro match. So I gave them a site that they could go to and watch the stream. Whether they watched it or not, I'll have to find out afterwards. So um, that's the other thing too. If anybody don't have the network, I know where there are some streams, and they still work, and they work very, very good. So if you want to see a pay-per-view and you can't afford to buy it from the cable company and you don't have the network, just let me know. I'll help you out there. So peace out, everybody. Have a great night.